When we would go scouting locations, you would see characters that lived in the Bronx that I would say, oh, like that guy walking right there, you know, he would be perfect. And sometimes we would run up to the people and say, you know, we're casting a movie, would you come in and read? But very often it was hard for them to act, which in general it's hard for just the person off the street to just without any background, to do something. I didn't know of any characters to play Jamal in the world of actors, at least that I knew of. I thought that maybe there were people that I didn't know that would appear. And as we went along and looked for people, Spike Lee came to mind. You know, I became closer and closer, like, you know, desperately calling Spike up, saying, you know, we don't know where to look. You know, we don't know what's going on. And then Rob showed up, sort of in the nick of time. You know, like at a time we were really sort of wondering whether or not everything was going to be okay.
Good, Rob. You don't want to do it. All right, quietly, folks. Quietly.
Whenever there is a role like this, that is a major role that most likely will require an unknown. It's always nervous-making. We had the best casting folks in the business, Francine Maisler in L.A., Bernie Telsey in New York.
They went out on a nationwide casting call, and Robert actually found a flyer in his school.
Thousands and thousands of kids came in to read. And Rob was, well, it was jaw-dropping, actually. I mean, because he had the most amazing composure.
It was pretty instantaneous that everybody said he should read tomorrow with Sean. And I was a little bit hesitant, like, well, we just met him, and, like, let's not, like, go crazy, and it might be hard, and I was a little nervous, but then we had him read one more time just to see, and then I had to admit that he probably should read, and so he read that next day as well.
It's another lesson, isn't it?
Crawford cannot understand how a black kid from the Bronx can write the way you do.
I didn't know what to expect, so in the screen test, I was kind of nervous because I was just worried about knowing the lines, because I knew if I knew the lines, it would have made me feel more comfortable than just reading off the paper.
All right, here we go.
And action.
You want to hear the real bullshit? How about you let me take it on this one because you're too damn scared to walk out the door and do something for somebody else. You're too damn scared, man.
There was no question that he was the one. And I'm sure there was a few sleepless nights at Columbia when you realized that the leading actor was somebody who'd never done a film before. Nor been in the theatre. But we were all convinced that he was right for it.
I'm going back and forth to Manhattan wondering, do I have the part or what's going on? Then finally he sat us all down, executive producer, Danny Wolf, he told me when I got the part. And it was me, Fly, Zane, and he just sat us all down, basically told us that we had the part.
7, take 1.
Rules was, if you want to come out, you stay away from the window's place. Those are the rules then, and those are the rules now.
There's an old man looking out the window.
You said you go up there, right? Right, Superman.
I've met many actors that are, you know, lifetime actors that are professionals that have won awards that aren't as good as Rob Brown.
This is Russell. Russell is the basketball coordinator.
We had rehearsal with the other guys on my team and opposing teams, so we knew what we were doing. So it looked organized. We looked like a team, so we had like a practice to play together.
What is this?
It's baby.
This is baby oil?
Yeah, it's baby.
You smell like a girl, man.
Gotta get Sean playing.
Me? A team.
Me?
Teams. It'll be even.
I can do it like with soccer.
I'll destroy you in this, and then we can play golf. And then you'll get back at it.
In the scenes with Forrester and Jamal, we were blocking on the stage before we started shooting for about a week.
And sometimes we discussed some things, and he made a few changes that made everything work a little bit better. And he allowed me to change a few things also.
By the time we'd done our rehearsals, and he was like a pro.
Sean's first words to him on his first day were, "Did you have any problem sleeping?" And he was like, "No, why would I?" He had no idea why he might have a problem sleeping before, he became in front of the cameras on his first movie of all time.
All right, first mark. Second mark.
We shot all of their stuff together up front, and I think for an actor who's never done anything, and with an actor like Sean who's so, such a veteran and so disciplined, I think it's been an amazing thing for Robert to learn rehearsals and coming prepared and knowing your lines and, all that stuff.
And consequently, once we got into the first couple of days of shooting, we just ate it up and we finished up a day ahead of schedule.
Roll sound. Let's go! Let's go! Let's keep this traffic flowing! Let's go!
Even before we started shooting and while we were still casting the character, they gave me a list of people, and I was like, Busta Rhymes, right? And then at the reading, I'm looking at all the names, and then I see Busta Rhymes and Robert Brown. I'm like, whoa.
I appreciate the fact that you be knowing all the joints, dog.
Yeah, I told you.
I don't even remember some of them verses, yo. Because I write it and I never have to perform them. So I don't even listen back to it but once or twice once we record it. Make sure the mix down sound right and then
Put it out there.
In another hour or so, we're going to have a picture wrap on Busta Rhymes tonight.
It's a ghost that we all fear the most. Live in Bronx, I think that's the East Coast. Wrote a couple books, then he wanna chill. Maybe he don't come out cause he got a half a meal.
Of course Zane started it. He does it for a living. So Zane started it, Fly got into it, Damani got into it.
And yo, we crept in the window last night.
Yo, Damani from Harlem World, still your girl. He from Flatbush, he don't care, still your girl. He from Atlanta, he don't, still your girl. I'm from...
Look.
We'd be walking around on the set, we'd be chilling, and then Zane, of course, he started it. Fly gets into it, Damani gets into it. I'm like, Damien, here they go again. Damien's into it now, and so I'm the only one, I'm like,
I love the ladies.
Cut.
You alright? You cool? You sure?
This kid's 16. Not shy at all. Steps right up to the plate.
Well, one rule that people failed to mention to me was never to tell actors what to do, right? Thanks, Barry. Thanks for telling me,
Are you challenging me, Mr. Wallace?
I didn't tell him what to do. I suggested what his character might think of doing. So, I did that, and he kind of said, F. Murray, he's very smooth and suave. Well then, if you know what I have to do, then you don't need me.
I'm sorry, did you have something to contribute, Mr. Wallace?
I think he was in character. He's a method actor. I hope he was in character.
I've got an antagonistic relationship with him, so I'm keeping my distance deliberately because it's necessary. But I have great admiration for him. Please don't tell him I said that yet. Till after the shoot is over.
Rob, let me out. Not funny.
Everybody's gonna have to clear. 360-degree shot.
So it'll turn on, and then we'll cut close.
You'll be looking.
Okay.
All right, stand by. We're gonna rehearse.
Hold on. None of you will be out here? Okay. Not even Gus? Okay.
Wow. Met Robert's mother very early on just to explain everything to her. And it turns out that one of our locations was mere blocks away from where she lives. So she came by one day to visit. And I don't think until she really came onto set and saw the trucks and the campers and the chair with her son's name on it that she really realized, oh my God, he's in a film.
Rob is a real kid from the Bronx who's actually was going to a prep school.
I went from public school to private school, kind of like Jamal. Gary Simon started this program, and he got me and hundreds of other kids into more competitive schools in New York.
Robert, I guess, is just in the same boat as I was in, except a few years later down on in his life, if you know what I mean. He just sort of happened into the whole acting thing like I did.
All I can hope is that the success that he is definitely going to experience doesn't spoil it.
For a young 16-year-old who's never been exposed to any of this, to suddenly come out in a big Christmas release movie, Sean took him aside and had a chat with him about what he should expect. Sean is most sincerely devoted to mentoring young actors, and I've watched him from Wesley Snipes to Julia Ormond to Nicolas Cage and now Robert Brown really sort of pull him aside and say, look, these are all the things that I wish I had known.
Working with him while we were shooting, it was fun. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's serious, but he likes to have fun too. He clowns around sometimes.
Crawford, Joan's mother.
Everybody around me has been real supportive.
He's really, I think, quite amazing.
Above the streets of the South Bronx.
You ever seen him? The window? Nah. But you see us, man.
A mystery is about to unfold.
The window is bad news, man.
Whatever, man. I'll go up there.
When a brilliant young talent comes face to face with a living legend.
I like the film, and it unravels in a dramatic way, humorous way, interesting way, angry way. It was quite literally.
A lot of aspiring authors talked about writing a great 20th century novel. William Forrester did it. This was the only one he chose to write.
Mr. Forrester was unavailable for comment. Yeah, I bet he was.
Have you seen my son's backpack?
For two extraordinary writers, a meeting of the minds opens the door to an unlikely friendship.
Well, I was wondering, maybe I could bring you some more of my writing.
Bolt the door, if you're coming in.
Finding Forrester stars Academy Award winner Sean Connery and newcomer Rob Brown from Gus Van Sant, the Oscar-nominated director of Good Will Hunting.
Forrester is reclusive and lives in an apartment in the Bronx where the neighborhood changed and he didn't. Are we now planning to make these visits a habit?
Forrester ends up bringing out Jamal's intelligence, and Jamal ends up bringing life, basically, out of his character.
That's you, isn't it?
If I ask you not to say anything to anybody.
And if I ask you to keep helping me with my writing?
Their common interest is writing, and then they have to kind of deal with all the other differences. You know, they sort of come up. You know, they become part of their getting to know one another.
There'll be no questions about me, my family, or why there was only one book.
Then I won't ask.
Good.
Academy Award winner F. Murray Abraham plays Professor Crawford, an English teacher who doubts Jamal's writing talent.
The question concerning your most recent work isn't whether it's good, it's whether it's too good. I refuse to believe that he's capable of what he is obviously capable of.
You don't think he wrote it?
He's a basketball player from the Bronx.
Hey, Mark.
Anna Paquin, whose film debut in The Piano won her the Oscar at the age of 11, plays Jamal's friend Claire.
There's a lot of things about it that a lot of different people will be able to relate to, whether they have had a kind of Jamal experience where they've been the outsider who's had to kind of fight their way in against the odds, or the Forrester, you know, the person who tries to help them.
Sit. The first key to writing is to write, not to think.
Punch!
Pass the keys, for God's sake! Yes! You're the man now, dog.
All right, nice and quiet.
I work in radio in Portland, and I was doing an interview. It just struck me that so many of America's great authors were really eccentric, reclusive type individuals. And I just thought it would be so interesting if someone were able to break that barrier.
I tried to call you to see what kind of food you wanted, but the phone kept ringing.
I took the bell out 20 years ago.
I think unlikely friendships are often just the most interesting things to explore in movies. The notion of a J.D. Salinger-like character becoming a friend to a 16-year-old black basketball player, and it was amazing to me. I am fascinated by what gets them to be together and what gets them to be great friends.
Answer. Vibrant in color, its name borrows from this Vivian Lee character.
Scarlet Tanager.
Oh, man, what is the Scarlet Tanager?
It was written by a writer you have never heard of. Thy duty, winged flame of spring, is but to love and fly and sing. He was writing about the song of the Tanager.
That's James Lowell, man. I know who he is. I'll stay with Poor Assumptions for 800, Alex.
This is a guy who is ingratiating on one page and infuriating on another.
They amuse each other and they're interested in the same things, but at the same time they have their little differences.
You should never start a sentence with a conjunction.
Sure you can.
Oh, no. It's a firm rule.
No. Sometimes if you use a basic conjunction at the start of a sentence, it can make it stand out a little bit. And that may be what the writer's trying to do.
And what is the risk?
Well, the risk is doing it too much. It's a distraction, and it could give you a piece of run-on feeling. But, for the most part, the rule on using and or but at the start of a sentence is still pretty shaky, even though it's still taught in too many schools by too many professors. Some of the best writers have been ignoring that rule for years, including you.
Well, you've taken something which was mine and made it yours. That's quite an accomplishment.
Forrester represents, I think, that idea of mentoring and allowing people who are trying to start out in whatever profession, let them know that a success isn't only human, is actually, it's all possible.
We had quite a field day trying to get 16-year-olds that could play the part, and the major problem was to find somebody who was the right age with the ability to play basketball and act and play the lead in the film. You know, not really a problem.
It is a melancholy truth that even
Great men have poor relations. Dickens.
You will hear the beat of a horse's
Kipling.
feet. Man is the only animal
That blushes, or needs to. It's Mark Twain. Come on, Professor Crawford.
Get out. Get out.
They went out on a nationwide casting call, and Robert actually found a flyer in his school.
He saw a flyer and needed to pay his phone bill and thought, well, you know, if I get something in this movie, if I become an extra in this movie, I'll be able to pay this phone bill. So that is why he showed up at this open call in New York for this part.
And for some reason he was able to jump right in and do a big scene with Sean, like as an audition.
We did, I call it the angry man scene, where it's kind of heated. And we get at each other a little bit, we scream at each other a little bit.
I could use a little help on this one.
Oh, no, that's not an option.
How about you let me take it on this one because you're too damn scared to walk out the door and do something for somebody else? You're too damn scared, man. That's the only damn reason.
You don't know one damn thing about reasons. There are no reasons. Reasons why some of us live and why some of us don't. Well, fortunately for you, you have decades to figure that out.
So what's the reason of having a file cabinet full of writing and keeping the thing locked so nobody could ever read it, huh? What is that, man? I'm done with this, man.
By the time we'd done our rehearsals, and he was like a pro with no virtual experience as an actor. He's got very, very good instincts. apart from the fact that he's a very intelligent kid, I mean, he absolutely fills the role completely. He's a straight A student. He's really, I think, quite amazing.
Why are your socks inside out?
In some cultures, it's considered good luck to be wearing something inside out.
And you believe that?
No, but it's like praying. What do you risk?
Yeah, I think that's it right there.
Gus Van Sant has won critical acclaim with movies like To Die For and Drugstore Cowboy. His enormously popular film Good Will Hunting earned him an Oscar nomination for Best Director.
When I first met Gus, I thought he was going to be like what I thought a director would be, somebody who always screaming all the time, like action, and screaming and hollering all the time, but Gus isn't like that at all. He's quiet. He says very little.
Okay, try Mom and Terrell. F. Murray.
There's a sense of humanity in his work. This is rare. It's just a man who is drawing the truth out, quietly.
Given your previous education and your background, either you've been blessed with an uncommon gift, or you're getting your inspiration from elsewhere.
I wrote those papers, man.
Then you won't mind showing me.
Gus likes to work on character-driven pieces, stories that touch an emotional chord on both the players and in turn the audience.
I'm not writing anything, man. You think if one of his 2 comma kids was writing these papers, he'd be doing this considering your background shit?
2 comma kids?
$1 million, man. 1 comma, 2 commas.
No, I don't. Do you know what people are most afraid of?
What?
What they don't understand. When we don't understand, we turn to our assumptions. Crawford cannot understand how a black kid from the Bronx can write the way you do. So he assumes you can't.
And cut.
At every turn, every, set and every character was always like, what does the real version of this look like? And most of the times the real version looks something different than what you would imagine. What does a cafeteria in the South Bronx look like? And trying to tap into those unexpected qualities to get as much reality as I possibly can into like whatever it is that I'm doing.
Let me see.
Don't mess it up now.
Let me see.
Wait a minute.
From the cover, this looks like the Funny Man school to me.
Terrell,
Jamal, you gonna be just fine, baby, bro, cause mommy don't make nothing but soldiers.
You could have done the same thing.
I work at a parking lot, and I ain't just no regular parking lot attendant. I am the supervisor of all the parking lot attendants.
How much money you gonna make from week to week? 1 week is $50, 1 week is $100. That's not a real job.
Ma, look, I rap. I get busy. I got my rap thing going.
Terrell, don't bring up the rap. Eat your food.
Do you know any one of my songs?
Eat your food.
I'm gonna sing it for you right now. When I come through and I blow the spot, your son is supervisor of the parking lot. Tell her, Jamal, my joint is hot, right, dude? I just thought it was a statement. A statement was made in that character that I was proud of. Don't get into no trouble, man. Be careful. Stay safe, all right? Love, dog.
When we were approached with this film, the interesting thing that Sean and I really looked forward to was the different themes that are in the film. It's also about family. Forrester is a man who never had a family, and Jamal becomes his family.
You look good, man. I mean, it's not the latest stuff
I wasn't asking how I look. I was asking, are we ready to go?
Oh, yeah, come on, man.
I think a lot of people are almost of the mistaken belief that this is a story about a man, Forrester, who saves a young teenage boy. And I think that's a short-sighted approach, because when you really step back and you look at it, they save each other.
Let me get a program.
He's not without his warts and faults himself, Forrester. And that's what makes the relationship interesting, I think.
Ground level. How's the roof built?
Why did you bring me here?
Because it's your birthday, man. I looked it up in the almanac. They don't even have you in the dead people section yet.
I think what's interesting about this movie is it sort of says it's never too late. You can be afraid of change, you can be afraid of people who aren't like you, but if you let them in, you'll be rewarded for that, and it will give you new life.
This was one of the best evenings I've had in quite some time. I realized that if I give you enough time, you'll find a way to amaze even me.
It takes you on a roller coaster ride from joy to sorrow to comedy to tragedy to mystery at a moment's notice.
Yeah, I think it's an emotional film. Yes, I think it is. It's about friendship and their relationship, and then develops into a very rather marvelous, humorous, quite passionate relationship.
They got some contest at school, this writing thing. You ever enter one of those?
Once.
Did you win?
Well, of course I won.
Like money or something?
The Pulitzer.
Oh.
Finding Forrester.